Hello guys, it's TZK, and today I'm going to be showing you the best perks and strategies to survive any Hell on Earth game on Killing Floor 2. Are you somebody who struggles with Hell on Earth difficulty? Do you find it difficult to defend yourself against all those zeds that attack you? Well, in this guide I'm going to be showing you the best possible perks and skills and best strategies to use just to help you survive more in Hell on Earth and win any game. Before we do begin this guide, there is a couple of things which you will need. You will need a perk which is higher than level 15. Anything below that, you're going to struggle. It doesn't really matter about prestige levels or like what prestige you're on. As long as you got like level 15 plus, you're basically going to be alright. Also, another thing to note before starting this is that this guide is going to be based on short games, meaning I'm only playing short in this guide. This guide also works on any game length. For example, if you want to do short games, it's perfect for this, or if you want to do long, you can also do long games. So this strategy will work with like any kind of game length. So before we do get into the strategy part of the guide, I just want to give you guys some quick tips before starting Hell on Earth. Tip number 1, always be aware of how much health or armor you have left. Zeds on Hell on Earth can hit like an absolute truck, so be sure to watch your health. The less armor you have as well, the more damage you will take, and obviously the more armor that you do have, the less damage that you will take. Tip number 2, be aware of your surroundings. Do not stand in closed spaces, because you will get stuck very easily, which is why I like to stand out in the open. That way I can get around Zeds easily and escape if I end up getting stuck. Finally, tip number 3, just be aware of how much ammo you have left. You can easily go overkill and use up all your ammo at once, which is bad because you're going to end up having none left and you're probably going to have a flesh pound next to you. So just be a bit more conservative about your ammo. But apart from that, let's get into the actual gameplay itself. So first of all, when I go load into Hell on Earth, I like to use Firebug because it's a good trash clearing perk. You can use Berserker if you want, or any other perk you feel comfortable with. I personally like Firebug because it's good at dealing with hordes of enemies. The skills that I use for Firebug are Bring the Heat, Ground Fire, Zed Shrapnel, and I don't have Firebug currently fully leveled up as of recording this, so I'm just going to highlight some of the skills which I would use, which is Firestorm and Pyromaniac. You could use the other one, Inferno, if you want for level 25, it doesn't really matter. But those are the main skills which I'll be using. So yeah, for round 1, it is going to be very easy. There is going to be like very little Zeds. You're just going to get loads of Clots, loads of Crawlers, the occasional Gorefine, but apart from that, it's going to be pretty easy. As it is wave 1, you can just use your flamethrower, use a few Molotovs. It's going to be pretty easy, or if you're using another perk, then just use that perk's grenade along with its starting weapon. Finally, moving on to wave 2. Now, I like to switch to the Demolitionist. If you're playing a longer game, I would recommend you keep going with Firebug until you get about 1100 dosh or more. Then that way you can change to the Demolitionist and buy yourself a Kaboom Stick, which is what I'm going to do here. I trade out the Cold and Burn and I end up going for the Kaboom Stick. I fill all of my ammo with the Kaboom Stick and I buy as much armor as I can with the remaining dosh. Speaking of which, the skills which I like to take for the Demolitionist is Shock Trooper, extra rounds, fragmentation rounds, armor piercing rounds, and I haven't fully leveled up Demo yet, but I would take Destroyer of Worlds. That way you have a lot more crowd control. Some people would probably go the left hand side because you got all the damage there, but me personally, I feel like the demo is already pretty strong, so I tend to just go for the ammo, the reload speed. So moving on to wave 2, and there will be a lot more Zeds, obviously. You may meet the occasional quarter pound as well. There's probably going to be a few quarter pounds spawning in, but not too many to overwhelm you at this point. I would just use the Kaboom Stick to clear out the horde, just like how Firebug has good crowd control with the Cold and Burn. Although I would be careful with the Kaboom Stick ammo. I would use it wisely because you can easily burn through it if you're not careful. Again, just like the Firebug perk, if you prefer other perks to the Demolitionist, then you can use that. I'm not saying you have to specifically use the Demolitionist. I like the Demolitionist because he's good at both short and long range, can deal with hordes easily. But if you've got another perk which you feel more comfortable with, then do use that. But for those of you who are a bit unsure, I would still recommend using Demolitionist because the demo has a lot of overpowered weapons such as the kaboom stick, the RPG. So moving on to wave 3, and you're going to stick with the Demolitionist again. We're going to be using the demo until the very end. Now when you get to the trader, I would recommend that you fully fill the kaboom stick. I'd recommend you fill your armor up. Or if you feel a bit more confident, if you feel like you need to budget towards something else, then you can go do that. But I recommend buying an RPG as your secondary weapon at this stage, because you will meet a lot of larger flesh pounds, and you'll even meet a few Scrakes, which are a lot more explosive resistant. I'll show you how to fully dispose of them in a bit, but you will need an RPG 7 for like round 3 onwards. Again, if you're playing longer waves, I'll just keep going with demo until you can afford an RPG. If you can't afford an RPG with longer waves, then just keep auto-filling your kaboom stick to full, then keep using that. Or you can use a much cheaper demo weapon as like a backup until you can afford it. But yeah, I would recommend getting an RPG 7, a kaboom stick. And the rest of the round is basically going to be the same as the second round, except you're probably going to meet a Scrake or two, which probably wasn't there, maybe even larger flesh pound. But apart from that, the rounds are going to be normal as usual. Now you guys are probably wondering, well, how do I deal with a Scrake? Well, what you want to do is you want to actually get up close to the Scrake, which I know might sound dangerous, but trust me, it actually works. If you go up to the Scrake really close with an RPG, shoot it in the head with an unexploded shot, it will actually instantly kill the Scrake. You want to do this because the Scrake has explosive resistance, meaning it's not like a flesh pound where you can just knock it down with a few rockets. It is very explosive resistant, so you will need to get close and headshot it with an unexploded shot, or else you're going to end up having him enraged, he's going to run after you, possibly kill your team if you're playing multiplayer. So the best way is to just shoot him at point blank range. That's how I normally do it. So moving on to wave 4, this is going to be your final round. This is where all of the Zeds are going to come in, including large flesh pounds, quarter pounds, Scrakes, husks. Every single Zed will probably no doubt be in this round, so you want to auto-fill everything. The only real issue with the demo is you can't really upgrade the kaboom stick or the RPG, as it does weigh a lot. I normally go for upgrading the 93R, or if you use the 9mm, that's fine. I just use the 93R as a backup weapon, but you mainly want to use the kaboom stick and the RPG, but if you end up finding yourself running out of ammo, you can always use your 9mm or 93R as backup. But going on to round 4, as you can see, I have to secure an area inside of the bar. If you do end up finding one of these in your game, sometimes the trader will make you secure areas. I would encourage it because you not only get money, but you also get XP for it. If you're not confident on Hell on Earth, don't secure the area because it is dangerous. Zeds on Hell on Earth are extremely dangerous. They can literally one hit kill you near enough if you end up doing something wrong. One small mistake can literally kill you, so if you're not very confident with area security on high difficulties, just don't do it. But if you are going to do this, just be aware of your surroundings, like be careful where you are, because you can easily get cornered, just like here, because this bar is very small. So it's just awareness is key here. And finally, for the boss round, I'm switching to the Gunslinger because the Gunslinger is a very good boss killing weapon. The Gunslinger is the most overpowered perk in the entire game. You can literally absolutely rip Zeds to shreds and even bosses. The skills I would use for Gunslinger is Quick Draw, Rack 'em Up, Speed Loader, Skullcracker, Fanfire. Especially Rack 'em Ups, those are extremely important for dealing with bosses very quickly. And even Speed Loader works well because it allows you to reload really fast. And for the Gunslinger, I normally take the HRG Winter Bites along with some Desert Eagles. I know a few people don't like the Winter Bites for some reason, but they are really good when you fully upgrade them. So depending on what boss you get, you should be okay. If you do get the Patriarch or the Matriarch, do make sure you get into cover because their attacks can be extremely dangerous on Hell on Earth and can injure you a lot if you're not careful. But with that out of the way, you should be able to kill them quite quickly and unlock your Hell on Earth achievement. So congratulations, you've just beat Hell on Earth on Killing Floor 2. I hope this guide helps. If you do have any questions, don't forget to comment them down below. But if you did enjoy this guide and want to see some more, then don't forget to like, subscribe, do all of that. I've even got a Discord which you can ask me any Hell on Earth questions if you want to. But with that out the way, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.